All right, everybody, if we could take your seats, and we'll get started. So before I begin, I have a series of administrative remarks to make, so listen closely. Restrooms are in the hallway directly behind the auditorium. I think you probably have all seen those on your way in. If there is an emergency, follow the red exit sign back out to the main hallway to exit the building. That was number 2. Number 3, vending machines for water, soda are available outside at the front of the visitor center and over by the gift shop. So if you're interested in those. I believe we are providing no further refreshments at this activity. Number 4, to preserve exhibits within the museum, please do not drink sodas or water in the main exhibit hall. Please do not do that. Drinks can be consumed here in the auditorium or outside, and I believe they will be consumed here in the auditorium at some point. Wi-Fi access for guests. Instructions are distributed and left on tables along the back and side of the room. So if you haven't already picked those up, feel free to do so. If you have not checked in at the front door, please do so before leaving today, because we want to keep track of who actually attended today. And lastly, if you're on the phones, it's really important to mute the meeting. So please do not put the meeting on hold, but just drop off and rejoin if that happens. So important, apparently, with the sound system here. So please mute the meeting when you're on the phone out there. Okay, we're all excited to be here, and I think many of you were here at Industry Day in September before the federal shutdown. We're excited because, if you go to the next slide, this is, by the way, a beautiful shot of Landsat 8's image of the Copper River in Alaska. Gorgeous shots we've been getting since we launched that mission and started receiving imagery. And you may see a few more in the course of this presentation. So this is the Users Forum, in case you wondered where you are. This is the Users Forum for the Sustainable Land Imaging Architecture Study. Next slide. I am Tim Newman. I am the program coordinator for the Land Remote Sensing program at USGS. And we have a number of distinguished guests with us today that you'll see at the front panel. And you're going to be hearing from them shortly. Dave Jarrett, the program executive at NASA headquarters. We have Del Genstrom, who is the architecture study team manager here at Goddard. And we have Mr. John Crow, who is our requirements project lead at USGS headquarters. So you'll be hearing from them shortly. Following our panel, we will step off the stage and bring the people up that truly matter, the applications folks, the people that are using Landsat data today. And so we'll have a series of panelists facilitated by John Dwyer from EROS, the Earth Resources Observation and Science Center out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He's happy to be here based on the weather back in Sioux Falls right now. And then we'll have a series of folks from Dr. Wynn, Hall, Mueller, Anderson, and Woodcock to give short presentations on what they use Landsat for, which I think you'll find very interesting. The intent is also to make this have a Q&A portion during that session, during the session that's facilitated by John Dwyer. And then lastly, I'll have a few closing remarks. Next slide. So, what we're all happy about today is, and have been for the last few months, is the administration's commitment to this program. It's a long-term commitment. It's not a single mission. It's a multi-decadal commitment to land observations, to a space-based land observation system. We're excited about that. We've never had that in the course of this program for such a long period of time. And so what you're going to be hearing today are presentations on these topics, some of which you saw at Industry Day. And so you'll be seeing something about the Sustainable Land Imaging Program, which NASA has set up and that USGS is helping with. That long-term commitment is important, and it is something we're happy to participate in. And at the same time, that activity is seeking a cost-efficient way to do this mission in the future. You'll also hear from Del on the architecture study team, the status of that activity, the schedule. You'll hear from John Crow on the user requirements process. Now that process is one that USGS has set up over the past few years. It was not intended directly for this activity, but the point would be it's a long-term analysis of requirements for land imaging, some of which requirements can be met by a Landsat system, some that can't be met by Landsat. So it's a long-term activity that we've initiated that we think is important to this process, and you'll be hearing the details of that from John. And then we'll get to the panel discussion, as I mentioned earlier. Those key application areas will be represented in that panel. There will be some mention of the 2012 Landsat applications survey that was done last year, of which many of you are aware. And we'll also provide for you, identify opportunities and processes for your participation in this activity. So what are the goals today? The goals are to seek your feedback on our user requirements. And these requirements are important, obviously, because they will actually feed the sustainable land imaging architecture activity that Del Genstrom is leading. Secondly, we want to make sure you understand how we're setting about to do this architecture study and the requirements process itself. And lastly, open up a dialogue with folks that may not have been involved in the requirements activities for Landsat in the past. We have a distinguished Landsat science team with 22 members from around the world that participate on a regular basis with Landsat. But we recognize there are many other users that are not part of the science team that want to participate in this activity. So this is their opportunity. Next slide. So before we get to the rest of the speakers here, I wanted to touch base on a couple of charts to give you some more background on what we're trying to do here. NASA and USGS have made a great team over the past few decades. And we want to be a partner in the future with them as we step out for land imaging. So in the study phase of this activity, you'll see NASA's leading the overall architecture study, but USGS is there as well, representing the needs and desires of the Landsat user community. And you may see some of these charts in Dave's presentation. But I wanted to emphasize that even in the implementation phase, USGS will be a major player in this activity. We will not design the space system, but we're going to be there for every step of the way, the ground system, flying the satellites, responsible for the ground system development, and so forth. So the partnership has been terrifically valuable. Next slide. So USGS has been in the requirements game for Landsat for a long time. This goes back to the 70s. It's been a long-running effort. USGS has worked with users from around the country and around the world for many decades. Pecora Symposium Series was started in '75 as a user-based forum on applications and requirements. We've had aero scientists and staff supporting users for many years. NSTC3 was a key piece of legislation, key presidential decision directive that governed our gathering of agency requirements, and that was further underlined in the National Space Policy of 2010. So USGS has been there working requirements for a long time. Next slide. So I wanted to just put a quick pitch in for the Land Remote Sensing Program, of which I'm leading at USGS. I think in many ways people say, well, that's the Landsat program, but they are different. Landsat is a part of the Land Remote Sensing Program. We actually look at space assets as well as airborne assets. We have an extensive UAS program that's out there, but with the goal of providing information to the nation to support management of our natural resources. And that continues to be our mission. There are also things, we can't have a briefing without the acronym NSLRSDA, which I've heard from many times before, the National Satellite Land Remote Sensing Data Archive, a key part of what we do at USGS. And then I wanted to also touch on, we also do some work with the classified community. So we have an extensive program that's more than just Landsat. And so in a way that drives the requirements activity that you're going to see from John Crow a little bit later, is we have to not focus requirements just on Landsat, but on the entire user community. And lastly, I wanted to mention on the Landsat program, I think you've seen this mission statement in the past. The second bullet, though, is important because Landsat is important not just for the imagery it provides, but the fact that we have the long-term data archive, the global data acquisition strategy. We're not collecting just individual places, we're collecting the entire globe. The open data policy, which has been so tremendously useful to the users out there. Rigorous calibration, and a commitment to data continuity. Those are the hallmarks of the Landsat program. Next slide. So this underlines, again, the long history, that partnership between USGS and NASA since the 60s on this mission. And we've been there every step of the way. We like this team. Next slide. So these roles have been discussed previously, that NASA will develop sensor satellites and will launch these systems. And USGS will be documenting the requirements, developing ground systems, and flying the missions. Next slide. So operational status, many of you may know we just launched Landsat 8 earlier this year. It was a tremendous emotional event to be there at the launch and watch this thing go up. I think there were a lot of tears amongst some of the folks, especially the longtime NASA folks that have been working this program for so long. But the satellite could not be operating any better at this point. We're getting tremendous data back, roughly more than 500 new scenes every day collected from around the world. It restored that 8-day revisit that we lost when Landsat 5 was decommissioned earlier in the year. And that 8-day revisit is important for the user community. The improvements on Landsat 8 have been also very, very interesting and I think exciting to the scientists. The Landsat science team, I know, was jumping up and down with the new capabilities that were provided on Landsat 8. Better resolution of snow and ice is a big feature. Landsat 7 is still up there, still operating, still collecting over 400 scenes. So together, the two missions are nearly 1,000 scenes a day that we're collecting right now around the globe. But we still, of course, have the scanline corrector problem, which happened many years ago, so we miss 22% of the pixels. The big issue, the crisis, if you will, is that Landsat 7 is going to run out of fuel. We have a few more years to go, and provided it continues to operate with all of its subsystems nominally, we will have a problem in a few years. So that is an issue for us. And then you may also know that we have a number of information products that we put out, the standard level 1T orthorectified product, but we're also getting into the business of some other products. I'm going to put a plug in for Bryant Kramer and the work he did in establishing us in the CDR community and the ECV work. We're really stepping out there. We have some new surface reflectance and surface temperature CDR products, and then we continue to work on the ECVs, and John Dwyer may mention some of this a little bit later. Next slide. And of course, the demand for the free data goes through the roof. The slope has not changed. Since we went to the free data policy in 2008, we are routinely distributing more data in one day than we did in a whole year prior to that time. So it's been a remarkable success. Next slide. So this data usages slide just continues to amaze me personally when I look at these slides. And it seems like the longer we go on the program, the more pieces of pie there are on this chart. It just boggles me that it used to be there would be maybe 8 or 9 big prominent regions. I think with the free data policy, there really has been an explosion in applications that have been a result of that. And so it makes it a challenge for understanding the user requirements from such a diverse community with so many different needs. You can't go to one set of customers to get those needs. You have to reach out to many across the community to understand them thoroughly. Next slide. So our mission, and before I get off the stage, we have a tough job. USGS and NASA are tasked to define a strategy for the next 2 decades for this mission. We have to extend this 41-year data collection. And a 20-year view is not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult to look at the technologies that may come into play over the next 2 decades. But we seek a solution that's flexible enough to assure continuity with the past data, continue to assure access in the present time, especially with Landsat 7 potentially going away, and then be extensible enough to meet the needs of tomorrow and to understand those needs. So we're here to better understand these applications and the research areas, and that will help us design a good system for the future. And I think that might be my last slide.